Hey folks, Fernando doing another video for the Modern Survivalist, and in this case talking about radio antennas, which is a topic that was requested. It was actually requested in my Spanish channel. If you want to follow me in my Spanish channel, link is going to be there below. Same for my book, Street Survival Skills, Modern Survival Manual. Thanks for everyone that left reviews on Amazon. Those are hugely appreciated. One more thing, yesterday we did a live stream with Matt Bracken. We talked about a very interesting video that you should definitely watch about Bill Gates, some of the things he's been doing that concern you, your freedom, liberty, and privacy. So check that out as well. So having said all that, this was requested as of what kind of antennas could I get for my BAOFENG UV-5R. The BAOFENG UV-5R is one of those radios that we've been talking also about quite a bit in the live streams with Matt, and you definitely should get one of these. These are very affordable. I think they're going for like 30 bucks give or take in Amazon, depending on the price you find it at the time, but they have lots of capabilities. You're getting a lot of radio for your money, and it's definitely one of those things that preppers very much agree on. You should have those in case of needing communication when cell phones are not working, when you need to run security in your neighborhood, communicating with people in your group at a close proximity. So that's where the question is basically coming from in terms of how much range can I get and what antennas should I consider. So let me say this just right away. I'm no expert in radios. There's channels dedicated exclusively to radios, and you should go watch those. Now, I've been watching this topic covered in different videos for a few days now. If you want to do your own research, more than welcome. But what I basically found out was that about a mile and a half is what you basically get with your typical BAOFENG stock antenna. So the UV-5R will typically come with a rubber antenna like this one, okay? So mile and a half, and it's going to be depending on a number of factors, guys. There's no clean-cut answer. It's going to be depending on the power specifically of the radio. This is a 5-watt. This is a slightly upgraded version at about 8 watts. It's going to be depending on how much power you have. Also, it's going to be depending about climatic conditions and geography. If you're in an urban setting, if you're between hills, if you're in a higher ground and you have a straight line of vision with the person you're communicating with that terminal, all of that's going to be making a huge difference. Maybe one of the things that influences the range most is the antenna. So you can go with a number of different possibilities. You can go with a rubber ducky type antenna like this one. This is pretty short. Like in an urban setting, it's going to be giving you maybe 200 yards, 500 yards. It's not going to be all that great. Maybe out in the field, if you have a clean line, maybe a mile. But mile and a half is usually what you get with these. You can stretch that quite a bit with a better antenna. The GT3TP comes with a slightly better antenna. Maybe you're going to be getting a couple miles. I mean, you could go all the way up to, I saw a guy that had one of these folding antennas, 50 kilometers. So you could get a 50-kilometer range. Now, this is all in perfect ideal conditions in which you have the biggest antenna you could possibly get for one of these without being one of those huge wire lines that you hang on trees, but like a 20-30 inch, and I think this is like a 40 inch. This is huge. I'm not even able to get it all in the camera. You can fold it in half or more like a 3-fold deal when you go like this. So yeah, that is, but the problem with this antenna is that you will have an antenna that is way too big, and you're likely, if you leave this in your terminal, you're likely to break this connection because this is just too big, too heavy, too bulky. So keep that in mind. So even though you could get, I mean, this guy had that, achieved that communication at 50 kilometers, but it's really not, and he was up in a hill, perfectly flat ground, ideal conditions. That's going to be improving quite a bit. You can get somewhat of an in-between, very solid range with this whip antenna. This is, I'll leave links for some of these models below in case you're interested. So this is the Red CV, I don't know, RHD771. and it's a 14-inch antenna, I believe, 14-inch, and you have the shorter 701, which is maybe one of the best compromises if you want a slight improvement over the stock antenna without getting something that is too big. The RecVis 701 would be that. So it's portable enough, it's a slight improvement. Maybe you're going to be getting more of a solid connection at those 2 miles, you know, out in the open. City is going to be a problem. Anytime you have walls and interference, anything that complicates the communication, it's going to be bringing that range down. This would be as large as I would go for like a fixed antenna that is not something likely to be breaking the terminal. You know, this is something that you could have maybe in a backpack, deploy it when you need it, but if you get to that point, you may want to go with these wire antennas that you can hang on a tree with a line. That makes maybe more sense. This is practical enough. Something like the whip antenna that you get in the GT3TP, similar to this one, and this is as large as I would go for something that is still portable, still handy enough, and not likely to break your BAOFENG. Folks, I hope you got some information here. The best thing to do, really, test it, try it out in your location where you're planning on communicating. It's better to underestimate and not have false expectations as of, yeah, I'm going to be getting 10 miles with my stock antenna. Yeah, extremely unlikely, right? This is not that kind of range. Mile and a half, 2 miles with good condition, higher ground, is clean line of sight. Yeah, stretching that a little bit with this and a full powered battery, maybe 8 watt would give you a jump in that range, but it really comes down to the antenna. The bigger antenna, guys, the more likely you are to get an improved range. Folks, that's all for now. See you in our next video. Have an awesome day. Take care.